In recent decades, many historical myths have turned out to be true, like the myths of the city of Troy in Turkey, the existence of Atlantis, the Terracotta Army in China, and many more. One of the famous myths is the city of El Dorado in South America. El Dorado is described as a city of gold and unimaginable wealth, located deep in the Amazon rainforest, with a river of gold flowing through the center of the city. The people of the city were said to wear heavy amounts of gold, and there was so much abundance that the ruler of the city would always cover himself in gold dust. Today we'll explore the story of El Dorado, the legendary city of gold once thought to be a myth, and how modern technology is bringing us closer to discovering this legendary city of gold and other lost civilizations in the Amazon rainforest. To understand the full context of the story, we will request you to watch the video till the end. The year is 1541, 45 years after the discovery of the Americas. The Spanish Empire embarked on a relentless quest to conquer new lands and acquire as much gold as possible. Driven by rumors of endless riches, one name rose above all others: El Dorado. When the Spanish conquistadors heard these rumors, they were eager to conquer the city and seize its riches. They immediately began launching expeditions in search of El Dorado. Many of these failed due to the hostile environment, but one expedition stood out, becoming an epic mystery that scientists of the modern world are still working to solve. This expedition started with a man named Gonzalo Pizarro, half-brother of the famous Francisco Pizarro, who defeated the mighty Inca Empire in South America. Gonzalo was the governor of Quito in today's Ecuador. Just like other conquistadors, Gonzalo was drawn to the rumors of El Dorado's riches. Eager to conquer the city and its treasures, he decided to lead his expedition with his cousin, Francisco de Orellana. Together, they gathered intelligence from local tribes, who revealed that the gold they sought lay even farther south than they had thought, somewhere beyond the Andes in the dense Amazonian basin. In February 1541, Pizarro and Orellana set out with 340 Spanish soldiers and about 4,000 indigenous allies, becoming some of the first Europeans to venture into the Amazon rainforest. Pizarro and Orellana were very confident that they would find the El Dorado in no time. However, they had severely underestimated the difficulty of their expedition, and it wasn't long before the reality of their mission became clear. They had traveled nearly 200 miles into the dense jungle, losing countless men to disease, hunger, and exhaustion. Even after losing men and supplies in an extremely hostile jungle, the allure of gold kept them going. After 11 months with morale at an all-time low, they found themselves stranded on the banks of the Coca River, half their men gone, and the remaining ones were weak, starved, and on the edge of mutiny. They had even resorted to eating their horses to survive. But on December 26, 1541, the starvation became deadly, and in desperation, Gonzalo ordered the construction of makeshift boats and sent Francisco de Orellana down into the Amazon River with 50 men to search for food and come back as soon as possible. Orellana sailed for 14 days in the river before he found any food, but he couldn't go back now as the currents of the river were very strong. By then, he realized there was no way to return upstream. With limited options, he decided to press forward into the river in search of El Dorado. Back at the camp, Gonzalo waited, but as weeks passed, he grew certain his cousin wasn't coming back. Some believed Orellana had been ambushed by hostile tribes, while Gonzalo began to suspect he had been betrayed. Frustrated and disillusioned, Gonzalo finally led the remaining men back to Quito, arriving in tattered clothing and empty-handed. He vowed that if he ever crossed paths with Orellana again, he would kill him. Meanwhile, Orellana's journey turned from a quest for supplies into an unplanned exploration. The strong river current pulled them ever deeper into the Amazon, and what they saw alongside the river was very unexpected. Orellana recorded in his journal that, along the way, he saw vibrant human settlements along the river, some stretching over 50 miles in length, amazingly developed with proper infrastructure, including aqueducts and drainage systems. Such places seemed impossible in a forest as dense and hostile as the Amazon. These communities were friendly at first, offering food and sharing their language. Orellana's hope of finding El Dorado was reignited with these sights. The Spanish pressed on, fueled by stories of even larger, wealthier cities deeper in the jungle. But as they continued, encounters with indigenous tribes grew hostile. On one occasion, the Spanish were ambushed by a fierce tribe whose women fought alongside the men. Orellana was impressed by the warrior women and named the river they were traveling down the Amazon, after the legendary Greek women warriors, and the name endured. After an arduous 8-month journey spanning over 3,000 miles, Orellana and his crew finally reached the Atlantic Ocean without finding the El Dorado. But unbeknownst to him, he had just become the first European to travel the length of the Amazon River. However, he decided to head east and return to Spain. Back in Spain, Orellana became consumed by the belief that he had come close to finding El Dorado. He spread the concept of El Dorado all over the country and convinced the Spanish officials that, with the right resources, he could succeed. Some officials saw a massive opportunity and decided to sponsor Orellana's expedition. On May 11, 1545, Orellana departed for South America once more. Determined to avoid the disasters of his previous journey, he brought 4 ships, over 300 men, and supplies to construct 2 more ships for navigation upriver. Even with the necessary preparations, the expedition met disaster even before reaching South America. Disease claimed the lives of 98 men and 60 more deserted. They were forced to abandon a ship and cross the Atlantic with only 3 vessels. The journey grew even grimmer when a violent storm scattered the ships, losing 1 along with 77 men and crucial supplies. By the time they reached Brazil on December 20th, 1545, only 2 ships and fewer than 100 men remained. Disheartened yet determined, Orellana tried to locate the mouth of the Amazon, but the dense maze of tributary rivers made the navigation confusing. They wandered aimlessly, covering over 300 miles without finding the main river. The expedition failed before it even truly began, and eventually only 40 of the original crew survived. The surviving crew returned to the Caribbean, abandoning the entire expedition. After this failure, Orellana's reputation was tarnished. Many suspected he had exaggerated his earlier accounts or even lied to secure funding. The concept of El Dorado was shrugged off as a myth, but after 2 centuries when sailing into the New World became more popular, the Portuguese, English, and Spanish explorers embarked on searches for the settlements Orellana had described along the Amazon River in hopes of finding the El Dorado. To their surprise, they found nothing, not a single settlement along the river. Francisco de Orellana was dismissed as a liar, yet the legend of El Dorado persisted. Centuries passed, and the fabled city became a story buried in history. In December 2020, however, astronauts aboard the International Space Station noticed what appeared to be rivers of gold in Bolivia, a result of vast illegal mining operations. This sighting reignited interest in the legend of El Dorado, and in 2022, a team led by German archaeologist Heiko Prumers used LIDAR scanning technology to map the Bolivian rainforest, uncovering signs of ancient civilizations. They discovered massive structures, pyramids, and extensive road networks hidden beneath the jungle canopy. This discovery lent credence to Orellana's accounts, suggesting that he may have encountered remnants of a forgotten civilization after all. But how could it be that Orellana found these settlements in the Amazon River? Yet 130 years later, other explorers found nothing. One study suggests that Orellana indeed encountered these settlements, but as he passed through, he unknowingly spread smallpox, a disease to which Native Americans were extremely vulnerable. The study concluded that within just 2 decades, the entire native Amazonian population may have perished from the disease. As they died, the dense forest reclaimed their settlements, leaving no trace for the explorers who came after Orellana. And if these settlements did existed, then there's a high probability that the city of El Dorado will be hidden somewhere in the Amazon. Today, El Dorado and the other great settlements of the Amazon remain an enigma. If they exist, their exact locations are hidden within the vast, impenetrable Amazon rainforest. Advanced technology may bring us closer to solving the mystery, but for now, the fabled City of Gold endures as one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us create more amazing stories for you. Also, leave a comment about the video. This is Wild Storian, and we will see you next time.